How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid Group. And before I get started, I must say we have to obey the technicals. In my previous video and also in earlier videos, I was saying if Lucid breaks through $40, you'll see it struggle when it gets down to 38, and we could potentially end up seeing $36. We close at $36.52. And again, you would have been prepared for all of this. So I just want to make sure you guys are getting value out of this video, because this drop in Lucid was to be expected. And it's part of the reasons why I said if you're a long-term investor, you have no reason buying shares at high prices. Even though I was getting a lot of hate, I really didn't care about it because I'm looking out for you guys. So I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information. The reason why this is important, it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and the selling behavior like on the institutional side and as well as for the retail side. And then when all of that is done, I'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $36.52, being down 18.34%. On the low, it tested $36.14, and then on the high, testing $42.74. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 119.232 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 75.678 million shares. So what this tells us, we had above average volume, but we dealt with a lot of selling pressure. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 39.21. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, you can see we have strength above the 200-day and the 100-day, but we are below the 21-day EMA and as well as for the 50-day. So like I was saying in the previous video, if Lucid broke through the $40 level, the $38 level, there's a good chance it would go down to the $36 level, which is right around where the 50-day was. And that's exactly what happened today. So this is part of the reasons why I was saying if you're looking at it as a long-term investment, there was no reason for you to actually take a position while it was trading even at these current levels or even at the highs and so on. But as far as the price action, if it continues to pull back, then the next area of support you're going to want to look out for will be right here around $35. If $35 can't hold, then the next level will be around $34.22. And if that breaks, then you guys already know there's a lot of downside that could be exposed here for Lucid, and which we'd want to see how well it would have some strength right off the 100-day at $29.89. Now, as far as for the bullish case scenario though, you're going to want to see Lucid come back to the $40 level. Now that it's below $40, it now becomes a psychological area. So if it's able to get back to 40, then of course you're going to want to see that momentum continue and seeing how well it could hold up at 42.50. And this would be essential for Lucid, especially since it has been on quite the downtrend. So considering the volatility we have inside the market, I can't wait to see how Lucid performs going into tomorrow. I'm going to take a look at the short interest information for Lucid. So for the dark pool short volume ratio, it is at 56.31%, and then for the dark pool short volume being just over 12.63 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 550,000, updated 15 minutes ago, and then for the short vol fee rate, it is at 2.84%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the 7th, it was at 61.24, and now the close for the 8th, which was yesterday, being at 56.31. So it has seen a decrease, but one thing that is still clear, Lucid does have short squeeze potential, but it also does contribute to the volatility you see inside the play, and it's also a reason why we are seeing quite the downtrend. If we don't have continuous momentum in regards to buying volume, then of course the stock is going to have a pullback. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we can see here on the inflow is at 846, and then on the outflow it was 836. So we ended up having an inflow day. When we take a look at the breakdown, it was 0 on the large. On the medium, it was 446, and then on the small, it was 400. When we take a look at the outflow side, on the large, it was 19.61. Then on the medium, it was 431, and then on the small, it was 386. Keep in mind, these numbers are in the millions. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for December the 9th, it being negative at 19.61 million. That's a lot of selling right there. Now, when we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders, which tends to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. Many people that are buying the dip. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. But when we take a look at those large scale orders, yes, there was mainly selling. It was 0 versus 19.61 million. So this is very significant, and it's part of the reasons why it had an impact on the stock. And now when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 7.31%. So this is up there, but we are used to seeing these kinds of ranges, knowing that there are many traders that are going in and out of this play, and the stock has been on quite the run up. And now that it's pulling back, this is a time where many people are going to choose to sell, and we could see this is clearly what is happening and why we have the pullback. So let's jump into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, taking a look at the technicals, if you're looking for a bullish reversal, it's going to have to reclaim $42.50. And then upon reclaiming it, then you're going to want to see that move going back to $47.50. If it continues to be bearish, then easily we could start testing around 34 and then getting close to $30. We do have some key CPI data that is coming out, and this is going to give us a good idea of what inflation really does look like. And then on top of that, we have the Fed meeting that's going to be coming up as well. And then you got to compound everything else. We had the senior notes offering, and then we also had the investigation from the SEC, and we're waiting for an update on that as well. So for Lucid, the pullback is really not surprising, and that's why I made sure in my videos I gave you guys a heads up about that. I know many YouTubers are going to tell you, hey, well, this stock is going to go to the moon, but I want you guys to remember when it was trading at 55, yes, we wanted to see it go to $60 from a trading standpoint, but at the same time, if you are a long-term investor, there's no reason for you to be buying at such high levels. But again, many YouTube videos were saying, well, you need to buy now. This stock is going to go to $100. But over here, I was saying it's too expensive. The valuation does not justify itself. And even though I was getting a lot of the hate, I made sure to say this because I knew the stock was going to pull back. And you're going to see many stocks in the market that do exactly the same thing that Lucid did when there's a lot of excitement. Everyone gets together, everyone starts pumping the stock, saying there's no way it's going to go down, you need to get it now, you start FOMOing and so forth, and then as soon as it pulls back, all you hear are crickets. I am not a bear. I am bullish on the long-term prospects of Lucid. I want to see them succeed. But at the same time, if we're going to be putting our money into the stock market, we need to make sure we're doing it wisely. We need to make sure we're not buying the top. We want to make sure we wait for a price that is a lot more attractive for us so we can purchase even more shares if we have high conviction after doing our homework and as well as our due diligence. And before I close this video out, of course, we have to talk about the short interest. It's still continues to have short squeeze potential, but we need to have more demand for Lucid shares. If that buying pressure does not come in, this is why I was saying this stock could pull back even further and start visiting at the $30 range. But first it will touch around 34, and then you have to see what the price action looks like. But if there's no demand there, it will pull back even more. So let's see how Lucid performs going into tomorrow. I hope you found this video helpful, and we'll be talking real soon.